Very good, guys.
Fantastic.
Steve, one thing I'd like to say is just for all the people out there watching is how honored I am to be with these two gentlemen here, and also great thanks to my friend Bill Pyburns for helping me set this whole thing up in Nashville. He really did great. And I have my old friend from the Merle Haggard band, Joe Reed, here, who played bass with us, and his wife Barb. So it's good to see all my old friends and my new friends too. And the main thing I want to say is just these digital cameras. These are digital cameras we're using, right? Mm-hmm. They have a tendency to make it look like I'm overweight, so I want to let you know.
We will do our best.
Okay.
We will do our best.
Go ahead, put all the fitting on me you can.
Clint, you've had such an amazing career. You were with Merle Haggard for how long? 9, 10 years?
About 9.5 years, yes, sir.
Yep. And when did you start with him?
I started with him in '85.
1985. So
yes,
right
sir.
out of high school.
Pretty much right out of high school, yeah.
And you grew up in the Dallas area?
I grew up in, I was born in Fort Worth. We stayed there for about 5 years. Then my dad worked for the housing department, so he got moved to Oklahoma City. That's actually where I started playing the guitar. Mm-hmm. I took for about Well, I'll just tell you the true story if you want to hear it. But I took from Julian Akins, who I believe was Vince Gill's first teacher too. And I was taken there for about 6 months, and boy, old Julian was an excellent teacher, but my mom took me to my lesson one Saturday, and I think maybe there was maybe a bottle of vodka on his desk or something, and maybe a girl in the house or something. She didn't like that, so she decided I had to switch, so I went over to Joe Settlemeyer, who you may know.
And this is in Oklahoma City?
It's in Oklahoma City, and I took from Joe for about a year, and then we moved back to Texas. And then I started taking lessons with the first guy. For all that time, I just played rhythm. And then when we got back to Texas, Dad was looking for me a teacher, so he found Slim Ritchie, who we just lost last week. Slim was a great friend of mine. Anyway, we found Slim, and Pop took me to him, and he taught me got me playing my first lead. I told him, I don't want to play lead, Slim. He said, I don't care what you want to do. That's what your lesson is.
And this is, how old are you about this time, Clint?
About that time, let's see, I would be about 11, maybe 10, 11, something like that.
Because you kind of started playing around 10 or 11.
Yeah, well, I started actually when I was 9, but by the time we got there, I was just about 11, I think, when I went to take them from Slim. Because, I think that's be about right.
And were you learning jazz at that time?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The first thing he showed me was, you guys want to play a little bit? Let's play a little piece of Satin Doll, but let's play it in G.
Okay.
And I'm gonna skip the head and just go right into the solo, so I can show you what he showed me. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you know what that is, right? That's Barney Kessel's solo off the Pole Winners record, Satin Doll.
Yep.
And that's the first thing I learned to play, lead guitar, first thing I learned.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
And
Slim Ritchie showed me that, by the way.
And so then you went through middle school, and did you come from a musical family? I know your dad played.
My dad played as a hobby, never played anything professionally, but he always loved music, and for some reason, he seemed to know all the good pickers around town, and we always had them in our house, and like Slim would come and visit, and Joe Settlemeyer, so we had Howard Roberts and Joe Pass, and many people to the house,
Really? Well,
my dad, they just all of them like Dad, and he was a great guy, and my mom and dad, my sister, wonderful people, I'm okay, but they're good.
What a musical heritage to have those type of folks.
Yeah, it was great to have it. I had some funny experiences.
So went and came through high school over there in the Metroplex.
Came through high school and did a few cool things while I was in high school, especially meeting and becoming acquainted with the musicians in Dallas in the jazz community.
Yeah.
Especially when I got to work a drive, so I could go over there, and so I got to play with Red Garland, James Clay, Marshall Ivory, Walter Wynn, Charles Scott, all your great jazz musicians, and Colin Bailey and Kirby Stewart, Lloyd Darling, all these great musicians from the Dallas area who were, Ray Charles drew his whole band from there when he first got started. So there's pretty good pickers over there.
And Clint and I actually have a little bit more of a connection than I don't even think he realizes.
You're from that area too, right?
I'm from San Antonio.
From San Antonio, right? Yeah, right there. Yeah.
And in 1982, you were the Texas All-State Jazz guitarist.
Right.
For the state of Texas.
Was that you put that clip up on the internet?
No, somebody else put that. I thought you knew who that put that. That was a great clip.
That was a cool clip, wasn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
If you want to see what Clint was looking like in high school and playing, just type into your YouTube search Clint Strong, Texas All-State Jazz, and it'll come right up. Anyway, I was the All-State Jazz guitarist for State of Texas the year after you.
Well, all right, bro. Hey, man. Hey, I did not realize that. Congratulations.
So you were very big shoes to fill, I must admit. The legend of you was big to walk in. So it was good to finally meet you.
We do have a connection. Good to meet you too, man.
So we've kind of been following each other in different places. Now, how'd you get hooked up with Merle Haggard's band?
Okay. That's a simple one. I went to high school with Freddie Powers Jr.
Okay, the name is familiar.
You guys, okay, all right. So you don't know who I'm talking about. Well, then let me explain the story a little bit more. Freddie Powers Sr. is Freddie Jr.'s dad. Anyway, so you understand that, but right? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Freddie Sr. wrote a lot of hit songs with Merle Haggard. They co-wrote a lot of songs. Now, they met during the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. And Freddie Sr. had been quite a celebrity in a lot of different places, actually a lot of different genres, but mainly so in the Reno area. He was playing at the El Dorado, and he had such a show, and he was such a fixture in Reno at the time that you'd go to the airport and you'd see his picture on the wall. You know how you go to the airport, sometimes you see local entertainers on the wall, Vegas or Reno, whatever. This was the case with Freddie, and he had that kind of thing going in Reno, so it was really well known, so much so that the local place that had vintage cars, sort of like we're in Grun's shop here, these places had vintage cars, like they have guitars here. They'd let him drive a new one every week, and he was kind of an ambassador for the hotel kind of thing, but he had sort of a zoot suit show. A lot of great musicians on that show, including a couple that later joined the Merle Haggard band themselves. One in particular, Gary Church, who was a trumpet player. But anyway, I had gone to school with Freddie Jr. Well, I went to college. I went up to North Texas after I got out of high school, and man, I'm just going to be truthful with you. I just wasn't ready for another run of academia.
That's a heavy duty place.
I wanted to play the guitar, and I felt like now this was probably not the right decision, but at the time I thought I had bigger fish to fry than to go to school and get my degree. Which now I wish I'd have gone and got the degree. So all you young folks who are out there, listen to that part of it. I wish I'd have gone and got the degree, because if I could have been teaching one of those schools now and making tenure. But I thought that at the time, you know how it is when you're a teenager, I thought I had bigger fish to fry, so I got in my car and loaded it with a couple of guitars and headed out west. And about 5 weeks later, I had a gig with Merle, but about 5 months later, first I went and joined Freddie Jr. out there. He was playing in a band, was doing the Reno circuit. And when I say the Reno circuit, I mean, it's the Nevada circuit. You do play Vegas too, but it's mostly like Fallon and those little towns. They have one casino, and we'd play those. But it's a good way at that time. It was a good way to make a living. They would hire a band, and you could make $600-700 a week, playing. And they had music then 24/7, man. Like at the Nuggets, sometimes my gig would start at 4 in the morning, and maybe start at 4.
That's a rough gig.
It started at 4 in the morning and end at 11 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they had music going all the time.
Now, and I heard that Merle was known for just having stellar musicians in his band, and you as a jazz player in Merle's band, I wouldn't think that would go, but he had. Was known for that.
Boy, he is the only musician in the country to have his picture on the cover of Downbeat. Yeah. So so that tells you something right there. Anyway, Merle has always had good musicians with him. He at that time, the band that Joe and I were in was what I would call one of those. I think there were about 3 or 4 stellar groups, and I believe we were about in the last one. And that not that the group now isn't great. It's just a different. They're in a different kind of playing in a different bag. But I'm sorry, this thing's kind of feeling weird on me, so I'm moving it around. Is it still okay? You still got me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we had a couple of horn players. We had Joe on bass, and me on guitar, Norman Hamlet on steel, and Jimmy Belkin on fiddle. He's what told you. He'd say, "I don't know it that loud." Yeah. But it was a great band, and Merle at that time was really opening everything up for everybody to blow. And plus, Roy Nichols had left, and Tiny Moore had passed. So those two guys were out of there. So he didn't have anyone really playing in that kind of. So I was in the right place at the right time for that.
Good. Tell us about the guitar you're playing today. That's a
Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? That's it. Look at there.
Maybe we get a shot of that, Timothy.
Yeah, let's get a shot of that, Timothy. Look at it. That is my Benedetto, and it is basically, folks, a Martino.
Yeah.
It's a Martino model. That's what it is. Yeah. I don't have Pat's name here, although it sure could be. I'm a Pat lover, biggest fan in the world of his. But that's what it is. It's a Benedetto and a Martino model.
Beautiful.
And it's sort of like a Les Paul. There is some similarities, but the thing is, it's chambered, so it's not quite as. And it's got a little bit. I think it's got a little bit darker.
Sounds gets a beautiful warm sound.
It's got a little bit darker.
Beautiful.
Man, I've been lucky too. I like an EV12L speaker, and I was able to get a cabinet from one of Bill's friends to play the other gigs. And today I walk into Grun's shop, and they said, "What kind of amp you want? We got anything you want?" And sure enough, they got another one right here. I'm very lucky. That speaker gives me just enough to take off the darkness of that.
Yeah.
That pickup's too muddy if I don't have the EV, but if I got the EV speaker,
Yeah.
it's perfect, you know. So that's why I like that.
Well, we've been talking about jazz guitar.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a little bit about bebop, which is something that is new for a lot of folks. Can you kind of tell us a little bit of what the difference is between bebop and just kind of regular jazz playing?
Well, I think, you know, when you took the old tunes, you know, and the way that the players played against them then, it was just more of a little variations on the melody and little swing figures and things that they played disjointed. But when you got Bird in there, you started getting lines.
Yeah.
Connected all the way through the changes. Let's play Back Home Again in Indiana in F, and then we'll go up to A flat and we'll play Donna Lee. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we'll show you the same tune, the same set of changes, okay? In fact, we can keep it one key. You want to do it in one key? Would you rather do it in A flat or would you rather do it in?
Don't matter, however you want to do it.
Okay, all right, we'll keep it in one key. We'll do it in A flat, okay? And we'll play the head to Indiana first. Is everybody familiar with that tune? You know what I'm talking about? Back, let's do it in F. Back home again in Indiana, through those fields I used to roam. Same old candlelight, still shining bright through the sycamores for me. Oh man, it's taking off on me. All right, so we're gonna go to A flat and we'll play Donna Lee. You want to play the head or you want to play the? Go ahead. Okay, all right. Don't call me go ahead though. Whoop, did I lose my? Here, I lost my earpiece.
Yeah, let's get you
what
fixed
I do,
on there. Just put it on around your ear if you can find it.
See if I can find my ear there. Is that it?
There you go.
We're good? Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there you go. So it's the same.
That's all you get. That's all
But
you
you know,
get.
but if you slow that down. You know, that's a beautiful lick right there, right? Bird's really thinking, wasn't he? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Perfect. Rory, perfect accompaniment here. Beautiful playing. Unbelievable. You know. So, and beautiful, man. So there you have it. You know, you look at it. You know, you can't copyright a chord progression, but you can copyright a melody, right? So any chord progression is open for these guys to write over. And there's just millions of these beautiful heads that have been written.
Yeah.
And then, of course, not to mention the original compositions that they were writing, like Bebop itself. I don't know the bridge to it, but I do the... Let's see. That's Dizzy, right?
Yeah.
Dizzy Gillespie. So there's another one I try to play a little too fast, it got a little too big for my britches there, didn't I?
With bebop, there's so many. I mean, we know about the horn players that play it. What about guitarists? Any other guitarists that
Oh man, absolutely.
folks should be listening to?
Sure, you bet. Absolutely. Who played with Bird on recordings?
Charlie Christian?
Kessel.
Or Barney Kessel?
Kessel
Yeah.
played. And he was
Yeah.
playing bop, man. Yeah, you bet you. And then you had other cats too, Jimmy Rainey. After what was your? I'm sorry, your name was Greg was telling me he had Carl Kress's guitar up there.
Yep.
So after Carl Kress, you had that other duo.
George Barnes?
Yes, there you go. The George Barnes, man. Yeah. So, man, I mean, you know, you got a lot of history there. But I don't think there's anybody that was completely doing it all the way until you get to, you get around the era of Howard.
Howard Roberts.
You know, those guys start coming out.
And
now they're doing the full on thing, playing the lines and everything. And Pat Martino. And, you know, now you're hearing the guys really do it like that. And
you took some lessons from Howard Roberts.
I took some lessons.
He's out in the Northwest, right? Is that in the
Seattle
or Spokane area?
He's gone now. He's unfortunately he's not with us anymore. But yes, he was. Yeah, he was in the Seattle area at that time. Matter of fact, the last seminar I had him come down to Texas and do, he and Patty sent me a salmon, a smoked salmon, big old salmon in a box back for for out there from Seattle. Yeah.
And so,
nice.
you went out there to do a lesson with him,
you
or
know,
how did y'all connect?
the first time I met Howard, he came to Oklahoma City when I was 9 years old and did a seminar, and Joe Settlemyers had me there, and he showed me the 5 fingering patterns that he used for major scales. You know. Which get me
show us
okay.
that.
All right, here's number 1. What these are going to be is in whatever position I'm in on the guitar, which will be 1 through 5. It'll be the lowest note to the highest note that I can reach without reaching out of position. Okay, so it's going to be a C major scale, but they're all going to start on a different tone. All right, here's the first one. Here's the second one. Third one. The fourth one. And the 5th one. So he told me to learn all those positions, right?
Right.
Okay, so I learned them, and I learned to hook them together, right? And then I came back to the next year, and Howard gets me up to play with him. Now, I'm 10, almost 10 and a half, I think of it. And he says, okay, me and Clint are going to play now. He says, Clint, you got your scales, right? You got them in every key, right? I said, yes, sir. Okay, because I was just, you know, I'll tell you, too, in a minute what he said after we finish him. Anyway, he said, we're going to get up and play, and Clint's not going to know what chords I'm going to play, and I'm not going to know what notes he's going to play, but this fellow over here, Joe, is just going to call out some keys, and we'll play for a few bars, and I'll have him call another key. You know? So, you know, I start playing, you know, and Howard's, you know, doing all this kind of thing behind me, you know, and it's just, and I'm still, but it's sounding beautiful. He's making everything I play sound beautiful because, you know, obviously he can hear, you know, and he's doing all kind of cool stuff. And then we switch keys and it goes right into it. It's just smooth as butter. And I have it all on tape, you know. And it's one of the coolest things I ever did, you know. Because of the way he could reharmonize and everything, play behind you. He made it sound like I was, you know, like I've been playing for 30 years. You know?
And he did so many resources as well. I mean, he was such a brilliant teacher.
Man, that's the whole, you know, man, his library of stuff, the legacy of stuff that he left us is enough to keep us all busy for several lifetimes, I think.
His son takes care of that?
His son is a caretaker. That's Jay Roberts at Roberts Guitar Institute in Seattle.
Yeah.
Be sure and look him up and give him a jingle. There's plenty of good stuff there. With Don Mock is there too, so you know, you can hardly go wrong with that, you know.
And Howard, I may be wrong on this, but Howard was one of the founding fathers of the Guitar Institute in Los Angeles?
That's absolutely correct. As a matter of fact, he did most of the curricula that was first used. I think, but yeah, they're just switching around as every institution does. But most of the stuff was originally done by Howard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're interested in learning jazz guitar, bebop guitar, anything like that, Howard Roberts is a good place to start. He was active 60s, 70s? When did he die?
Yeah. Well, he died in 92.
92.
Yeah. But he was active actually from the 50s, from the mid-50s all the way up to the 90s.
Yeah. Check out Howard Roberts. Check out George Barnes. Love George Barnes' stuff.
Yeah, George Barnes.
Brilliant guitar stuff. So if you're interested in kind of getting a jazz guitar in your ear, that's a good place to start. Of course, anything solo jazz guitar, Joe Pass is a great resource as well. Just brilliant stuff. If someone was wanting to learn, beginning to learn jazz, what would be a good resource? Do you know of any particular resource that you teach out of, perhaps?
Well, you know, one of the things I would suggest them learning at the outset is their harmonized major scales, because those just, have so much to do with everything that you learn when you look up a tune. You know, like we just played. Take the A track.
Right.
You know, well, if you were to analyze that with harmonized scale, it'd be a pretty good way to go. Figure out what to play over. You know, but learn their harmonized scales to begin with, and then as far as a resource, well, the Howard Roberts books are still in print, I believe, and there's
What's
several.
the title of those?
Well, I tell you what, he's got a set that's 3 books. They're put together. They're not cheap, but they're worth every penny, and I think you could get the set for maybe $150, $200, something like that, and they are called praxis, which is a Greek word that means to do.
Praxis.
Yes, Praxis.
Fabian,
praxis.
if you can find that link, go ahead and, wow, Fabian, you're earning your nothing that we pay you. If you can find that link and do that. We did have a question come up here. Amarusa Law is asking, how do you recommend developing speed on the single lines, of which you do so brilliantly and is needed in bebop stuff? There sounds to be little pieces of scales with chromatic notes above and below. But are there any true exercises for speed that you would think would be helpful?
Absolutely, I'm going to answer that with the answer that Howard gave me, and you're not going to like it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway because this is a true answer. The natural spin-off byproduct of accuracy is speed. So if you want to get something really fast, you want to make it really blistered fast, you want it to really be burning fast, then what you have to do is go very, very slow.
Yes.
You have to slow it down, and you have to play the first note, and then you have to play the second note, and you put those two together, and so the process goes. Next comes the third note, and then the fourth note, and then you put those together. Now you got 4 notes, but this lick is 150 notes long. First, you have to play the first note, then the second note. Now it sounds like I'm being awful redundant and awful slow here, but this is the way that you do it.
Yeah.
And if you can find another way to do it, Howard said, then you proved me wrong.
Yeah.
If you can't, then you must reconsider. And what you want to do, if you want to play really fast, is you have to play the first note, and then the second note.
Yeah.
And you must do them accurately, because otherwise, if they're not accurate, you'll just have a bunch of stuff that sounds like slop. It might sound pretty fast, but it's not. Here's one of the fastest guys I've ever seen right here.
Right.
Fast, but everything's accurate though. There's nothing is sloppy, nothing is nothing is misplaced. If he was playing all that and you didn't know for sure where it was set, what difference would it make?
Yeah.
But do you? Can we have Rory talk for a minute?
Rory,
What
do
do
you
you
have
think
any
about?
thoughts on that as far as building speed and stuff?
Well,
If we need to move that mic, let's.
do I need to bring this up?
Yeah, if you
over
can,
here?
that'd be
There
helpful.
you go. There you go.
All right. What he said is good, and I had the same thing. Not when it relates to guitar, but a more recent anecdote was I've been working with a guy named John Cowan lately, who is famous in the world of newgrass music, and he has had me playing multiple instruments for him, including banjo, which means I'm stuck learning all these crazy Bela Fleck and Noam Pikelny banjo licks that he does on these newgrass tunes. And there's no way you're going to play those things at tempo, up to speed, unless you play the first note. and especially in my case, because I can't, since I play left-handed and I've kind of developed my own thing, I have to work out my own fingerings and my own picking patterns, so I can't just watch a YouTube video and go, oh, that's how they did that. Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do it. And the only way to figure out how I'm going to do it is to, just play the notes slowly and then try to play them faster. And then what's really frustrating is when you just about get it, and then suddenly after you've been practicing it for about 3 days, you discover an easier way to do it. So then you have to unteach yourself everything that you've been teaching yourself for the past 3 days to do it the better way.
Yes, I like that.
But it's worth it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's worth it, isn't it? And man, like what he said now, when he was talking there, it brought to my mind something else, that practicing with a metronome
Yes.
is, man, there's no I can't tell you how valuable that is, you know. So to practice with a metronome is just like, I mean, I'm thinking about trying to do a book in the future about it, or maybe a live tape about it, because here's the thing is, you know, you hear all these complaints from the students. Well, it makes me sound too stiff. It's just like scales. The same thing with scales, right? I don't like them. They're nasty, brutish sounding things, and they all sound the same, and they make my playing sound redundant. And I don't want to. And what the big deal is on all those deals that students say, not one of those claims is true, and what's more important is not one of them needs to be true, because metronomes and scales are used by great musicians every day to create music that is the best in the world, you know. And it's not the metronome that ain't swinging, it's the student. You know what I mean? So let me assure you, you can make a metronome swing, it's swinging along just fine. It's the student, it's the student that ain't swinging, and the same thing with scales. Scales as obstacles can seem just like what they are, as obstacles. But scales, when used to create music and used to do things with, are absolutely beautiful. Can you guys play just these two chords for me? C major 7 to F major 7, just like that, to F major 7. I'll just play you something by John Coltrane, just here. Keep him. And here we go. Isn't that great? So you see how beautiful that is right there. You know, that's the ending of Naima, one of Coltrane's compositions. So, you know,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
How about this one? Can you play it for me? Just C major 7 to G sus. You know? There you go.
Well,
Major scale.
I tell you what, let's get y'all to play another tune for us, and then we'll let you come up for air for a second.
Okay, what should we play, Roy? What
were y'all doing earlier that sounded so great?
What were we playing? I can't remember now, can you?
I like a Gershwin.
Let's do. That's it.
Here's that rainy day.
How about Here's That Rainy Day? That's right. Which one do you want to play?
It's up to you. It's your show.
No, man, it's our show, brother. Okay, let's do Rainy Day.
All right.
Here we go. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Just like Mom used to play it.
Wow. Well, we will let them take a breather here just for a second while we handle a couple of announcements. Wow.
Thank you very much.
I just have the best
Thanks,
job in the
Steve.
world. I'm just sitting there looking at you guys.
Thanks for having us, man.
That's fantastic. Don't
Thank
go
you,
anywhere.
thank
We
you,
got a
Rory.
little bit more to go.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much, man.
Okay,
Thank you, buddy.
got a couple of announcements. Let's give something away. We haven't given anything away yet. Let's give, I've got a book here by our good friends over at Alfred Publishing. This is kind of a beginning jazz method, swing jazz guitar. Has all kinds of guitar chords, notation tab. I think it even links to some MP3s that you can download as well for it. The winner of this is Milpat, M-I-L-P-A-T, Milpat. You have just won this book. Hey, send me your information, Milpat, at service@mightyoakmusic.com. Your mailing address, phone number, screen name, what you won, things like that. So when we're trying to go back and track this down, we can get you all the information. So congratulations.
All right.
Wonderful, wonderful resource. Let me tell you about a couple other things that we've been working on. Wow, we did a show, I don't know, probably 3 shows back on building a pedal board. And so we were developing a video for that, how to put together an electric guitar, pedal board for an electric guitar, and that is finishing up right now, and it should be available tomorrow in the store. So just check out for that. It's full 45, 50 minutes of stuff. I give you every tip I know. We tear my board up completely apart and put it back together again, and a lot of good information there. So if you're interested in knowing how to do that and what you should put on it, how it all cables up, things like that, check out that video. It'll be up on the site tomorrow. Also, we're having our Guitar Gathering Conference coming up in July, around like the 8th through the 11th. It's going to be a fantastic time. If you have not yet registered, I believe it's one of the links underneath your Ustream window right now. Should get you that if I remember correctly. If not, Fabian can put up the link for that. It's 4 or 5 days. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Wednesday night, we're going to see Jack Pearson, who is actually here back there. We're going to see Jack and his band. Thursday night, And then the at the Station Inn, right, Jack? And then we're going to Muriel Anderson's All-Star Guitar Night, which is a tribute to Noki Edwards from the Ventures. So all kinds of great, tremendous players are going to be there. Tom Bresch and all kinds of great guys are going to be there for that. We'll have a live lesson broadcast through there. Will McFarlane, our wonderful friend, Musicians Hall of Fame guitarist, is going to be doing some workshops and all kinds of fun stuff. Greg Voros is going to be setting up guitars. If you're in the Nashville area, check it out. We will just get you going on guitar stuff to a ridiculous extent. So come on out if you're interested in doing that. Okay. Last week we had, 2 weeks ago now, we had our good friend Desi Cerna, author of the Fretboard Theory series. Desi was with us. Fantastic resources for learning the fretboard and learning the patterns on it and things like that. We put together a deal, a pack for that of both of Desi's books. If you're interested in that, that's the red button underneath your Ustream window to get the fretboard learning pack. If you're interested in really kind of knowing your fretboard, a lot of guys know this first position real well, but it gets real fuzzy kind of around from 7th up till 12th, and guys aren't quite sure what's going on up there. If you're interested in learning the fretboard in a little bit more of a comprehensive way, I can't recommend Desi's resources enough.
I need to win that one myself.
So lots of great things going on there. Okay, so check that out. We did have a couple of questions that folks had asked online. So one of them, Nacogdoches Bob, our good friend from Nacogdoches, Texas, not too far from Clint, is asking if you could talk a little bit about chord substitutions. He goes on to mention about playing an F9 and how you can substitute a C minor over that in some situations, and just talk about some basic jazz chord substitutions.
Okay, F9. Yeah, you can substitute a C minor over it and make it into a 2/5. You know, about chord substitutions, I mean, that area is so vast that just say, well, let's just talk about chord substitutions. I mean, it has to be, to me, somehow something that you utilize. So there's some little rules, and I can't think of all of them, but if you have, like for instance, if a chord is a 1 chord and the melody note is a 7, you could use a major trad, or sometimes people call it a half step low. So like, let's take a tune like ba-doo-da, 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 right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take how about this? We could do some subs on this. Let's see. How about this? Maybe this one. Right? Tritone? Now it's the 9th, same thing, same rule. Okay, there's some subs, you know. Now, what was I doing? Okay, what was I doing there? Basically just chromatic, right? Just chromatic stuff, right? Okay, normally that is normally so it's just basically usually a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. But overall that now you can always you can approach anything chromatically. In other words, let's say we're going to get to this chord right here. If I want to get to it like this, I can.
What?
It's a B flat 6/9.
B flat 6/9.
If I want to get to it chromatically, I can start anywhere. Pick a note. Pick a note. Pick a note. Somebody pick a note. F sharp. All right, let's go F sharp. Okay? If I want to go to it like that, I can. All right? But what I did was, so I started a half step above this chord. I went. Now the next note is going to be this. But instead of that, I started a half step above that one too. So. Right? Okay.
Beautiful.
So there's some subs for you. You know. I know what you're talking about. Subs are very difficult to.
It is.
I mean, how do you? What do you want? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to make it sound this way or that way? I mean, okay. Here's another one. Here's a very simple one. I'll give you a tritone substitution. Anytime that you have a 2-5, okay. Anytime that you have a 2-5, you can use a tritone substitution. So pick a key. Go, Roy.
Keep it simple. Key of C.
Key of C, the Canadian key, right? Okay. All right. No, that's key A. That's key A, right? C is Mexican key, isn't it?
Nice try.
C is Mexican key, right? D. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go. D minor, G7. All right. All right. Now, if I want to get a tritone away from G7, how do I count it? How many steps is a tritone? 3.
3 whole steps.
3 whole steps. Okay.
3 whole steps.
1, 2, 3. So that's a D flat 7. Okay. So I could use.
Now, what was that middle chord? A D flat 9? Is
It
that
was
what
a
you're doing
D
there?
flat 9. Yes,
Okay.
sir. It was. Or I could have used.
And then what was that middle chord there?
That was a sus. That was God's favorite chord, which is G sus. Right? Yeah. And the middle chord was a D flat major 7 with a raised 11, or sharp 4, or flat 5, whichever one. Right? Now here, check this one out. D minor to G7. So I put a 2-5 in front of the 5, right? Now I'm going to put a 2 in front of the tritone sub. I'm going to check it out. You know, hence the jazz lick. Right, that's so standard. Now, if you play jazz, I think you have to speak the language. You have to play that lick, right? You know, you have to know that lick, or whatever it is, however you do it. Same thing, right? You know, there's a nice one, huh? See how that fits over there? Listen. Don Mock, Hot Licks book. Here's another one. You know, I'll do it slower. So that fits over the top. Do-ya-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Do-ya-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. So those are nice. Now there's a great way to start to understand subs is just to use tritones, you know, because instead of just playing F minor to B flat to E flat, now you can play F minor to E major 7 flat 5, or that's a good Jim Hall chord, isn't it?
Now, if you're just learning kind of the harmonizations that we were talking about, a good resource for that is Eddie Arkin's book, Creative Chord Substitutions for Jazz Guitar. Great resource for learning that harmonized major scale. So if you're interested in learning that, I think we've got that book in the store. I've learned so much out of that, and gets into chord substitutions as well. And then you did a video, gosh, back a ton of years ago. Is that still around?
You could get it. You could call me at 817-504-0630, and I'll send you one.
Or you've got your website. So what's your web address?
I've got a web address, clintstrongmusic.com, and I don't mind putting my phone number out because it's fine with me. If you want to call me, I got a stack of them at home. Give me your address, I'll send you one, because I'm not getting any money off that thing. So, but it's
it's
out
a good
there.
little resource. I've seen
It's a good
clips
little
of
resource, and I can put the book right on the DVD. And now if it's got a little glitch in it, and I hear any complaining, I don't want to hear no complaining. You know, I mean, I make it myself, so they're not the greatest, but you know, hey, either there, or you can get it on my website, or you can try to. There's one other source. I'll think of it here before we're done. Let's see if I can think of where else you could get it. But I was thinking about saying something else to you about this. I washed my windshield. Never mind. What are we gonna do? What's next?
That's all right. Okay, well, let me do some closing announcements, then
Yeah.
we'll have you guys play a song. And then we could also give away one more thing. And Greg, what I wanted to give away was actually a Groon's hat. If we have our lovely assistant, Greg Voros. who is currently choosing
Hey,
the
Greg,
hat.
it was Dick McDonough, right, that he played with? Carl Crest and Dick McDonough, right? Yeah, that's it. That's
Yep.
it. There we go.
Yep. Greg
Okay.
just got back from speaking and teaching at the Asia Convention, which is a luthier convention. Yeah, either way, you just toss it.
Yeah.
It's just us, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Voros.
Yeah, Greg. All right.
So someone is about to win this Groons hat. The winner of this is Rev Steve, Revstev,
All right.
You have just won this great Groons hat. Give me your, send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com, and we will get this out to you.
Beautiful.
Address, things like that. All right, let's do a closing song. Let me give you some announcements while y'all are thinking of what. Well, I know y'all have
We
rehearsed.
want you to play too. We want you to play too. Why don't you-
I'll try and do my best to keep up with you. Let me give you a couple of closing announcements. All right, our next live lesson will be next week, June 23rd, back with Desi again. He's going to close out this month that we've been talking about fretboard theory. So Desi's got another exciting aspect of that. He's going to lay on us next week.
All
So
right.
that's going to be next week, June 23rd. I just booked this today. I'm so excited about this one. July 14th. This is, so that's what, 3 weeks from now? 3 weeks from now. Michael Nomad Rapole, is going to be with us. Y'all may not know him. Fantastic studio player. Used to be here in town. Now he's in L.A. Let me see. I wrote down some of the things. He's currently the guitarist for Babyface and is on tour with him all the time. He's recorded with everybody from Carrie Underwood to Mary J. Blige, India Arie, and Stevie Wonder. So
Wow.
Michael is a great player, great guy, great instructor. He's going to be with us July 14th. So if you're available, check that out. We've got some new lessons over at Gibson Skills House that I've put up. Got one on open string hammer-on tricks that you can do. That's more for kind of finger style. We talk about jazz chords in another one. Then we have our power workout, which is our 10-minute workout on just one key aspect of guitar playing. This one is a great one. This is one of the best ones we did on finger flexibility. A finger flexibility workout. I teach you 3 or 4 different exercises, and the big killer is the one by Phil Kagi. Phil Kagi's finger stretching exercise. So, wow, he has smaller hands than me, but his fingers can reach places no human can do. So so check that out. The finger flexibility workout we have over at Gibson Skills House. Then I have a wonderful interview with our good friend Jack Pearson from the Allman Brothers, who is here tonight.
Yeah, Jack.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for coming, man.
I wish we could pan the camera around and see all the guitarists that are in this wonderful studio audience that we have here today. If you like our live lessons, please like them on Ustream. That helps Ustream to rate us a little bit more. And thank you guys so much for being here with us. We're going to play one more tune. I'd like to thank our wonderful crew that put this all together, our producer Cole, my son, Timothy Krenz, and Daniel Krenz, who are working tonight doing cameras. Fabian, our wonderful unpaid moderator. Thank you, Fabian. Couldn't do this without you. Actually, we could do it without you, but it's so much better having you here. Putting up all the links. Y'all show Fabian a little bit of love on the chat there. It's great to have Fabian here. All right, and that's enough of me talking. I can't also forget to thank Rory. Thank you so much for being here with us on
Man,
the
no
spur
kidding,
of the
boy.
moment.
My pleasure.
Woo.
It has been my pleasure.
A genius.
For Rory to be our staff accompanist for tonight is crazy. And thank wonderful Bill Pyburn, our good friend Bill Pyburn, for putting this all together.
Brother Bill, thank you.
And
Actually, we should call him Wild Bill, I guess. Wild Bill Pye.
and for bringing Clint to town for a few days. A lot of wonderful events you've been a part of.
I've just had a ball, and I hope I get to come back soon. And
When do you go back?
I don't know when I come back yet, but whatever it is, I hope it's soon. And I'll say this, want to invite y'all all down to Texas. Come on down and have a good time with us down there, too. You know?
Yes. All right.
How about, you know that one? Thank you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Clint.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks,
Keep
Rory.
up the great work in your learning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being part of us tonight. We'll see you guys next week.
We good?